Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here on this Monday, the 12th of April, 2021. Glad you guys could tune in. Now, listen, the economic recovery's on track that I forecast for months back, like 6 months ago, I was talking about it, and other things are happening. Let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here. Take a look. Biden meets today with executives on the chip shortage. You guys haven't heard what the chip shortage is. Computer chips. Those little chips that go inside everything that they make, There's a huge shortage of them. And right now, it is hitting the United States auto industry. But hey, I got an idea for these companies, making cars. Switch over and start making the cars like you used to. They didn't have any chips in them. Heck, I would run to buy one. Put points and a condenser in it, and a carburetor in it, and roll up windows, and no computer anywhere, any place, Man, I'd run to buy one. Because they're the most reliable cars, easy to repair. Man, make them the way they used to. Yeah, it's a great idea. While the chips are all gone, instead of closing the factory, just retool a little bit and make them the way they probably look in the back room. They probably still got all the stuff they need to make those cars the way they used to, and they could just gear up in no time, start producing cars with no chips in them at all. That'd be a great idea. That's what we would. There's a lot of us out here, that would love a car that doesn't have a computer in it. Made the old-fashioned way they used to make them in the 1950s. Man, I'm telling you, so this is an opportunity. They should look at this as an opportunity. They should take my idea and run with it, Instead of worrying about these stupid chips, just make them with no chips. In fact, make everything with no chips in it. Let's get rid of these computers. I would love it if we could go back to a world that maybe didn't even have any computers, at all. So anyway, here's the thing, chip shortage. I wonder how long this chip shortage is going to last before the chip manufacturers start producing chips on a massive scale again. Well, we'll have to wait and see how long this lasts, but the auto industry is really feeling pain from it right now. In all seriousness, I don't think they really can. I don't think they know how to build a car the proper way anymore. Now they only put chips everywhere all through the car. They got so many gizmos that they keep adding to the cars. And these gizmos end up breaking, Things like rear view cameras, self-parking, all these heated seats, power seats, power windows, power door locks, power this, power that, power... Oh my gosh, it's okay if your car's new. If you buy a brand new car, it's okay for the first little while, but then there's going to be nothing but trouble. The more power gizmos they put on your car, the more trouble your car is going to have at a certain point, because it makes it more complicated. Simple things are always the best, aren't they? You can rely upon them. A wheelbarrow's got two handles on it, and you pick it up and you push it forward. It's one of the most reliable things out there, and it's not complicated. Let's move on. Let's take a look at silver today. I'm very disappointed in silver and very disappointed in gold in the fact that the price just never seems to get off the bottom. Silver's down 43 cents today, and I don't really see any reason for it. I could almost see silver as being the next chip shortage. Like the chip shortage, silver going into shortage, and that would have a profound effect upon industry. If they can't source silver, they would panic, because they need silver as much as they need chips. Chips and silver, every cell phone that comes off the assembly lines got silver in it. It's also got chips in it. In the same way with the cars and everything else that they build. Solar panels are just going to be gobbling up. Do you know how many people are going to go for solar now? I seen an ad on TV, and they're absolutely correct. They said you can lower your power bills by going out and putting in solar panels. You know, and I think companies now are they'll come out and they'll install them for you and everything. They'll take all the hard work out of it and everything, and then you'll see a power bill reduction, and it pays for itself in no time. People are going to start hooking up solar everywhere, and you know, they're going to need the panels. They each got silver in them, you know, and as this grows, well, it's going to take a big chunk out of the silver. But what about investor demand? People are buying it for investor demand has been picking up. And as inflation starts to heat up, you're going to see investor demand heat up. So where are they going to get all this silver? They might be running out as we speak, you know, and in the next year or two, they might completely run out, practically run out, just like they did in the chips, you know. Of course, you know, these chips are going to go up in price. Because they're out of supply. Well, silver will have to go up in price too if they run out of supply. Cryptocurrency today, you know. Well, we didn't do gold. I got to remember to do gold every time. We got to take a look at gold prices today. 1734 today. It's down $10.20. Disappointed in gold too. The price keeps going down. Cryptocurrency though, it's 2064 now. It's broken through the 2 trillion. It's broken well through the $2 trillion mark. Over a $2 trillion industry for crypto today. 2064 solidly above 2 trillion. Doesn't look like it's falling anytime soon. Bitcoin price of 59,811. It's been flirting with that 60,000. Sometimes it's a little bit over, sometimes it's a little bit under. Where the market cap for crypto industry is going up, and it's going up because the altcoins now are catching a bid, a lot of the better ones, you know, and we're seeing they're vying for position, these altcoins in the marketplace. Dow Jones Industrial Average today is down 66 points. I only see this market over the next couple months going up slowly. I don't think it's going to roar up higher, but I think it's going to make its way up over the next few months, and then we're going to face a wall. Probably about 2 or 3 months into the future, we're going to face a wall where it's going to be very noticeable, the amount of inflation. And will the Federal Reserve try to fight the inflation with a tightening procedure, or was that all bluff? They wouldn't dare, would they? They wouldn't dare. Would they? Would they actually do that? Because you know that they will cause a crash if they do it. If they tighten, they'll cause a crash. They wouldn't dare, would they? I don't know. I don't know about them. Maybe they would. But they're only going to make things worse for themselves if they try to tighten when inflation starts to hit. Because then they'd have to step in. When the crash occurred, they'd have to step in and prop it back up again. And that would cost more money. Ultimately, that would cost more money than they would make in the tightening. You know, I mean, it would just make things worse faster. I don't think there's any way out of this hyperinflation we're headed toward, other than just letting completely letting the system collapse. They can't do that. So I see this market going into a hyperinflation. What does a stock market do in a hyperinflation? It just goes up and up and up and up endlessly as the currency hyperinflates. I think that's where we're headed ultimately. Is a market that you try to pick a number how high it can go, you know, if we're heading toward a hyperinflation. But there's a danger of a crash, because anytime the Fed tries to step in and tries to make things better by tightening, it's going to make the market fall like a stone. And so we always have that potential of the Fed deciding to trying to cool things down, and just making things a lot worse, and then having to step in again and having everything go back up even higher, faster. So, strange world we live in, but I don't see any limits to the top of the market, just like I don't see any limits to the price of Bitcoin. You know? And ultimately, where does this take us? It takes us to the hidden tax, inflation. Inflation is going to destroy the purchasing power of your fiat currencies. Doesn't matter if you're over in Britain right now and you got the you got the British pound. Doesn't matter if you're over in Japan right now listening to my show and you got the yen. They're all going to lose. They're all big losers in the end. And nothing's going to change until they're actually went to zero. We're going to continue on in this process of them losing value faster and faster and faster. And I don't see any way out other than a hyperinflation worldwide. But it's a worldwide. We've never had a worldwide hyperinflation before. Always during a hyperinflation, when they see the value of the currency falling to zero, they always reach for something of value that they can use as a means of commerce that has value, because nobody wants to take a whole wheelbarrow full of money to buy a loaf of bread. So they want something that they can use that does have value that they can use as a means of exchange. They always turn to something. In this case, it's a worldwide hyperinflation, so they can't turn to an alternative fiat currency. See, that's what normally they do, turn to an alternative fiat currency, one that's maintaining its value, to use in their hyperinflation. They can't do that this time. It's worldwide. So they're going to have to turn to something else. And cryptocurrency is standing there, and gold and silver standing there. I think they're going to use all of it. Cryptocurrency, gold, silver, whatever they can use, whatever they can turn to. And that is going to retain its value of purchasing power while all the fiat currencies basically burn. And so this might be the rally coming up in silver and in gold and in cryptocurrencies where you can't really get out. Because when a hyperinflation gets bad, guys, they can lose value 100% daily. Now, how are you going to get out? You want to sell and buy into the fiat currency? Well, the next day it's only worth half as much. How are you going to get out of your crypto or your gold or your silver? Well, you might not get out. You might not want to get out, because at a certain point it starts to be used as money. Because that's what it really is, And like gold, it starts to be used. And then you don't have to get out. You don't have to think about, hey, I got to sell at a certain point. Sell for what? Fiat? Fiat's on its way to zero. And this is something a lot of people, they always think about, I'm going to exit at a certain point, and I'm going to make money and stuff. That's with a stable fiat currency in place. Something that's stable to get out into. When these fiat currencies become unstable, it might be very difficult to get out. So there's the Dow Jones today. Crude oil today is $60.19. It's up 87 cents. Now, the MOVE index is going along perfectly normal, 61.21. Bonds and rates. I almost think the Fed is letting these bonds creep up, and they might have a target range that they won't let it creep any higher than. But I almost think the long end, the Fed's just letting it happen. And the reason why is they want to try to slow things down a little bit. They see this recovery coming, and they can see consumer prices starting to come alive and go up. The consumer price inflation index starting to go up a little bit, and they might want to cool it off, and they might be thinking to themselves, hey, let the bonds go up a little bit. That'll only help us to cool it down. That's a possibility. This went through my mind, So bonds and rates, we're seeing them creep up. The 10-year is up today, and it's up at 1.676. And the U.S. 30-year is up at 2.34. And it's up 2. So the bonds are moving up today. Let's take a look at the dollar index today, 92.10. And the dollar is falling off. I think what's in motion now is going to continue to stay in motion. We're going to see the dollar continue to cool its heels. I think we're going to see bond rates continue to creep up on the long end. I think we're going to see Dow Jones creeping up 33 to 34, maybe 35, so on. Thousand, I'm talking about. I think we're going to see cryptocurrency continue to creep up in price, and gold and silver continue to be suppressed. But I think they're going to have a hard time keeping silver under the $26 mark. It's going to want to creep up too, you know, in the same way with gold. I think they're going to have to really work hard at creating tons and tons and tons of paper silver contracts in order to keep the price suppressed on gold and silver. You know, they're going to have to keep pumping out, keep high inventories of paper silver and paper gold that controls the price. And while the physical keeps getting in shorter and tighter supply. What a crazy world, guys. Listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the very next show. Bye-bye.